used to your workplace by now. Well, good. I hope you learned the map by heart and know where the things are. Good for you. You already know where the things are. The palace is beautiful, isn't it? There are so many rooms, and many of them have their own individual style. The palace is just so buried in the inside. Yeah, it was certainly nice here. But after one incident, things went wrong. It all started when one of Frogle's daughter went missing. As you know, the whole family was out walking in their garden one late night at a time, and the daughter just went missing. These were hard times for a man like Froggle. He had always been cheerful, but then he fell into the deepest depression. He even closed the fairy kingdom from free visits. Then there were many interrogations, investigations. Froggle was so fed up with it all, but he held on trying. After the incident, he immediately went to the police, to a detective agency. But it got him nowhere. Absolutely no evidence. But in the end it turned out to be one of the detectives disappeared. As a result, surveillance cameras were placed in the palace and around. Then they started hiring guards for the fairy kingdom, because all sort of hooligans started showing up in the garden and vandalizing it at night. Perhaps those were the very people who destroyed the palace. Or rather, they are. But when asked why they do it, they refused to answer. But as Froggle II said himself, who disappeared with his family and courtiers, could tell us about it. This happened after the murder of the king's chief servant. A few days after the crime, the entire palace was suddenly abandoned. Froggle and the family fled, taking almost nothing from the palace. The palace and its entire grounds were left completely unattended. And then the vandals came, and you know the rest. It's hard to figure out why the family ran away. They could have fled either from the vandals, or because they could have committed these murders. But I can't believe they could have done that. I mean, they certainly couldn't have done it. I know them. I was acquainted with all of them. Well, I can suspect one crazy old woman, the king's mother-in-law. But I'm sure even she is not the murderer. And there's something else notable in this whole story. There were those toys in the kingdom. The ones you heard myths about. The ones that supposedly came to life and so on. They were called Froggy, Kitty, Groggo, and some kind of gnomes. So one day a guard noticed that they seemed to be walking around at night, and he even told a technique to protect himself from them. He was sent to a psychiatrist for a checkup. Then the second one came in, kept quiet for the first time. Oddly enough, yes, and the detective was trying to prove something. Oh? What's there to tell? Why would you need it anyway? Well, why do you need it? Alright, listen. Well, in a nutshell, if Froggy comes, turn off the light. He's blind and can't see you in the dark. But don't go where it's bright, he'll see you there and attack you. About Kitty and Groggo, they can see very well in the dark, and you have to turn on the lights when they come in. It kind of blinds them. Ridiculous, right? And there's something about the gnomes that says something about a music box. It has to be turned on for them for some reason. That's all. Oh yeah, one more thing about the philosopher. He's not making any noise in his workshop, is he? He was drunk again this afternoon and shouted something about curses and chrysanthemums. And then he made such a noise that half the palace must have heard that. Honestly, I didn't listen at all to what he was yelling. He talks such nonsense sometimes when he's drunk. Oh! See that little box on the table? I thought I'd bring it to you. If you get bored, you can wind it up. Oh, but don't forget about the work. Don't give the box too much attention. Alright, you got work to do. See you later.